welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steven Eiderstein, and thank y'all for joining me today as we go through and we take a look at today's reading, which is March 26th of 2023, from James Allen's Daily Meditations. I'm really looking forward to it and looking to see where it brings us, honestly. It's going to be fun to just see March wrap up. There's been some really powerful ones this past week about identifying if we're operating in spirit or we worship truth or we worship ourselves, if we worship flesh, right? And it was just a great month so far. Just extremely eye-opening. And even yesterday's just the understanding that when we realize a truth, the realization and the full comprehension of it will be gradual and unfoldment. It takes a while to go from your head to your heart, as they say. So let's go ahead and we'll do March 26th. And just so you're aware, this is new to you, or fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning this will be the first time I read this on this podcast. So you'll get my genuine response, reaction, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. So here we go, March 26th of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Follow faithfully where the inward light leads you. It is well to become conscious of your shortcomings, for having realized them and feeling the necessity of overcoming them, you will sooner or later rise above them into the pure atmosphere of duty and unselfish love. You should not picture dark things in the future, but if you think of the future at all, think of it as bright. Above all, do your duty each day and do it cheerfully and unselfishly. And then each day will bring its own measure of joy and peace, and the future will hold much happiness for you. The best way to overcome your faults is to perform all your duties faithfully, without thinking of any gain to yourself, and to do all you can to make others happy, speaking kindly to all, doing things when you can, and not retaliating when others do or say unkind things. Put your whole heart into the present, living it minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day, self-governed and pure. This is a very interesting read right here. This meditation, I gotta say, is it's encouraging, I believe. It talks about overcoming our shortcomings at some point, maybe later rather than sooner, but at least we're working on them. And how to go throughout our days and how to have genuine joy, and peace in a day. And it comes down to that doing your duty, whatever is required of you in those days. All right. The first line it opens with is, I love that. But I gotta say, well, let me read it first. Follow faithfully where the inward light leads you. And I love that, right? Because we get pulled in these directions and we get these thoughts and these images and these just instinct or this feeling, And it takes a while, though, is what I was going to say, to figure out what's just my character defects or my shortcomings, as this says, comparatively to what is my duty and genuine purpose for that moment. Right? It's pretty important. he starts the main body of this out with, "It is well to become conscious of your shortcomings, for having realized them and feeling the necessity of overcoming them, you will sooner or later rise above them into the pure atmosphere of duty and unselfish love." Right? Because selfishness springs from the worshiping of self. So when you become aware of your shortcomings and you actually are putting in that work to rid yourself of the shortcomings and being aware of them and making the effort to change behaviors, which will change the thinking eventually, which will give you the opportunity to change the thinking and change your heart. Eventually, these shortcomings, what he's saying here at the end, it said, sooner or later rise above them into the pure atmosphere of duty and unselfish love. So your character defects, your shortcomings, your selfishness, your sin, maybe said by some, but your passions, whatever it is, however you'd like to say these things, distract you from your duty. It distracts you from, I'm sure this is insinuated or meant in the grand sense of like your duty to the world or your purpose in life, but also on your day-to-day duties, right? Anger distracts me from my day-to-day duties. Lust distracts me from my day-to-day duties. Gluttony, self-serving pleasure, contentment, distraction. I mean, social media distracts me from my day-to-day duties all the time, right? Like, duty in all its forms is impeded solely by ourselves. We get in our own way. A lot of big things. Well, I want to find my purpose. Like, the divine purpose intended for me, as some want to think about it, right? And I don't know if I'm subscribed to that, but to find any purpose, let alone your purpose, we need to stop doing these things that are harming us and harming others, that are shifting us off of the path that the path and the behavior God would have us be, right? We need to stop those. We need to do that work, and we need to ascend above, right? Rise above them into the pure atmosphere of duty. Again, so we're just blocking ourselves up. An unselfish love. So all of ourselves, all of our selfishness, self-centeredness truly does get in the way of being able to love thoroughly and completely. And that's something I didn't realize. That's something I didn't really know. Until I started walking this path, and I realized, I was getting in my own way every single time. He goes on to say, you should not picture dark things in the future, but if you think of the future at all, think of it as bright. It's just a general direction to have positive thoughts, have good thoughts, joyous thoughts, happy thoughts, right? It's important. You'll bring negativity into your life if you think about negative things. You'll bring positivity in your life if you bring about positive things. Don't picture a dark future. Picture a bright future. Above all, do your duty each day, and do it cheerfully and unselfishly, and then each day will bring its own measure of joy and peace, and the future will hold much happiness for you. This seems, when it's worded in such a way, it seems so magnificent or regal or almost like unobtainable, right? Like, above all, do your duty each day and do it cheerfully and unselfishly, and then each day will bring its own measure of joy and peace, and the future will hold much happiness for you. He's not asking for the world, though. Do your duty. Be an individual of your word, man of your word. Hold to your commitments and obligations. If you're working that day, be the best employee you can be. Be the best family member you can be. Be the best person you can be in your life. in all areas. Be of service to these people, into these aspects of your life, right? That's what we're talking about here. And as much as I'd like to think that's unobtainable, but to do my duty each day and do it cheerfully and unselfishly, that's not that big of an ask. To walk in and just perform whatever tasks I have to perform that day on a day-by-day basis, cheerfully and unselfishly. It's quite simple, actually, at the end of the day, but we do like to complicate it. And then he says, doing this simple thing, living each day in this simple way will bring its own measure of joy and peace. Each day will have it, and the future will hold much happiness for you. That's a pretty great promise. The best way to overcome your faults is to perform all of your duties faithfully, without thinking of any gain to yourself, and to do all you can to make others happy. This is really just saying to be of service to everything, to all of your duties in all capacities in your life, to being of service to every relationship in your life, whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family, a co-worker, an employer, anything. Whatever dynamic you have, you could be a part of a social group, being of service to them as well. Performing your duties faithfully and without thinking of any gain to yourself. Don't do them for selfish reward. Be grateful for the opportunity to perform these duties. That's what we're talking about here. Oh, if I do this, I'll get that. That's the selfish, self-serving thinking. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service to you today. Thank you for letting me be of service in this way. That's a pretty awesome way to live, honestly. Faithfully, without thinking of any gain to yourself, and to do all you can to make others happy. Give others the opportunity to be happy by what you do in your actions. He goes on to give a description of this: speaking kindly to all, doing kind things when you can, and not retaliating when others do or say unkind things. So being kindly to all. Being kind doesn't cost you anything. It's easier, actually. It's less energy to be kind. Doing kind things when you can, being kind through your actions. Have your interactions be kind. No, you with another person. And also the things that you do outside of an interpersonal interaction can be kind. And not retaliating when others do or say unkind things. So understanding that everyone's human and not everyone is going to be able to treat you in the way you're treating them, but you treat them kindly anyway. You not get angry or resentful towards these people for their human nature. You do not punish them. You come with an understanding and a kind and loving heart. He closes this one out by saying, put your whole heart into the present, living it minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day, self-governed and pure. There are so many things in the spiritual realm today that talk about these things. You can go to, I think it's Ram Dass that said, be here now, right? The power of now. In the 12-step communities, it's the one day at a time capacity or thought. And the power of now is the Eckhart Tolle book. Things like that. But there's more, way more than that, right? To be present in a moment. That's some people's concept of meditation. Mindfulness is a large movement today. And that's exactly what is being mentioned here in James Allen's writings from 100 years ago. It just amazes me a lot of the stuff we have today. Wayne Dyer, even, he has a lot of those meditations, being present with the moment, and finding the magic of right now is a very powerful thing. And put your whole heart into being present. Not investing in the future right now in the sense of fear, a fear-driven lifestyle, or anything else like that, right? We're talking about just being present, understanding the future will happen and the past has happened, but we get to be here now. And what we do now builds that future. Enjoying these moments. All we can ever be is here. All we can ever be is in the now. This is where we meet God, or meet the God of our understanding, or meet goodness, or meet nature. Meet society is now. Put your whole heart into it. Put your whole heart into now, into the present, into living it. Minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day, self-governed and pure. Carry this spiritual life, spiritual nature, these spiritual truths into your every moment, and watch your life change. And that's been my own personal experience. The more I've attempted to do that and made the effort to do that, the better my life is, without hesitation or question. It's a fantastic, fantastic principle. The more I live here, the more joy, happiness, and peace that I have. When I'm here performing my daily duties, more happiness, joy, and peace I have. So, great reading today. Again, absolutely fantastic. Just get you thinking. Makes you remember that now is what matters. Right now. So, thank y'all for joining me today, though. I appreciate everyone that's been jumping on with me. Go over to our Facebook page. It's just called The Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. And give it a follow and give it a like. And I would appreciate it. And you can get the most recent quotes I share, or the updates, if there are any. And the newest episode can be shared, too, with you. So that would be fantastic. Thank y'all again for joining me, and I look forward to tomorrow, March 27th. So until next time, thanks.